Welcome, and thanks for participating in this professional development presentation on how to integrate literacy throughout content areas. I chose these goals for our school to consider because of how young we are as a school, and even though we have already accomplished so much, we have to continue to work as a team to establish school-wide expectations for instruction and standards of learning for our students. This is exciting work because we get to have so much input and collaboration around how we envision our teaching and learning here at Acadia. These are the action plan goals that we are planning on doing some work around today. I invite you to read these and think about how you are already reaching these goals and what work we have to do to try and reach them. Create and design school-wide expectations for using literacy rubrics as guides in content area subjects. Increase availability and access to a variety of leveled and organized nonfiction texts by adding to the shared book room and individual classrooms. Implement school-wide informal and formal assessments for using literacy in content areas such as WINC, science, and others. Bean 2015 talks about the importance of active listening and teamwork. It's important that we discuss these questions with our neighbors and write down our comments for sharing and collaborating. Here at Acadia Academy, what are we already doing to meet these goals? How can we try to accomplish these goals? Turn and talk to your neighbor. Differentiated instruction in the content areas from Scholastic 2016 states there are many suggestions of how to scaffold learning for small groups of learners while others are learning independently. How many of us are already providing hands-on, authentic opportunities for students to collaborate using group retelling or jigsaw groups, which could enhance their learning through the development of their speaking and listening skills? From Ming 2012. Laminack and Wadsworth 2006 suggests that read-alouds are a fantastic way for children to make connections between literature and mathematics and all content areas. You are providing them with a challenging problem in an environment that is appealing and safe to explore. What we have. Already we are using our PBIS expectations and rewards, Lucy Calkins writing rubrics, Scholastic Book Fair money, Raz Kids, hands-on authentic learning, i.e. WINC, and projects. What we need to work on. School-wide guidelines and reward system for PBIS. Implementation of specific rubrics. Shared resource library, WINC rubric, guidelines, and expectations. I'm going to show you a video about the jigsaw method. We can use this strategy in content area classrooms as a way of activating speaking and listening skills. Ming 2012 suggests that incorporating relevant texts help to clarify meaning, provide in-depth information, ensure simpler vocabulary, and offer greater student engagement, unlike textbooks. Students would benefit greatly from the creation of shared resource room for a variety of levels of informational books. We can always use Raz Kids too, but in order for our students to be able to be successful and effectively teach others through the jigsaw method, we must provide them with resources at their reading level. Are there any other ways you can think of that we can do this? Turn and talk with your neighbors. This is an example of the WINC rubric that I have created as a pilot for 3rd grade. As a team, we really need to explore what do we want our students to learn from WINC? What are our expectations for each grade level for WINC? How is literacy incorporated into WINC, as in what Common Core standards do we address? Please turn and talk with your neighbors to address these situations. Ming 2012 suggests using T-charts, Venn diagrams, and KWL charts, which are excellent ways to informally assess what students are learning across content areas. Another way to informally assess could be through modeling think-alouds, which can allow for teacher observation of students in a variety of learning environments. Please turn and talk and jot down some of your ideas to include on the poster. This is the WINK rubric that we have created. If you have any comments about that, please jot those down and we'll share those later. Why is this so important for our students? Myth or fact, reading instruction should consist primarily of decoding and memorizing basic sight words and not comprehension in grades K through 3 from Scholastic 2016. True or false? Without success criteria, students are unable to reflect on where they are and where they need to go to improve their learning and work. Discuss with your neighbors. For years, primary and middle grade teachers have shaped their teaching practices around the following deeply rooted myth. During these years, comprehension has had little to do with reading instruction. Then, quite suddenly in the 4th grade, reading to learn begins and students read to absorb information. Unfortunately, this myth has influenced reading instruction and beliefs in classrooms throughout this country and continues to do so. The problem? The myth and its practices aren't working. From Scholastic 2016. Teachers can work to provide suggestions for how students can plan their work, such as providing a template before starting their learning. Teachers can provide direct feedback related to students' use of strategies to help them improve their work during the process. Further, the feedback could also be in the form of suggesting new strategies for students to try. Lastly, the self-reflection phase involves the student's capacity to critically evaluate their learning. Teachers can also provide students with feedback describing how they can evaluate their work using success criteria or expectations from Brond and DeLuca 2018. This is why it's so integral that we have specific rubrics for students to assess before, during, and after their learning. Here are some action steps. What do we need to do to accomplish our goals? Teamwork, obviously. Some suggestions include scheduling time for more committee meetings, sharing effective strategies in staff meetings, include one strategy in each monthly staff newsletter. Probably it would be important to create the newsletter at the same time. Assess and catalog available texts in subject areas. Expand classroom libraries related to content. Explore options for subscribing to electronic text databases. I'm going to leave you with this quote from I Practice Teaching, Transforming Our Professional Identities as Literacy Teachers Through Action Research, courtesy of The Reading Teacher. Teaching practices are in a constant state of flux because they interact with contexts that are changing. Practices that don't change are dead and useless. As professionals, we grow practices as we adapt to the moment and beyond. Final thoughts? I want to hear them. Here's your exit slip. Please give me feedback and let me know what questions you still have and what are the most important action steps we should work on as a team. Thanks. Finally, here's a list of our references from this project. I will share this slideshow with you so that you can have this for future reference. Thank you again.